From Spain to the Czech Republic to Denmark, we have journeyed through rain, wind and sun. And so it's back to the ancestral home of karting. In northern Italy, just outside the ancient city of Cremona, lies the Circuito Angelo Bergamonti, named in honour of the late Grand Prix motorcyclist. For the second year in a row, the FIA Karting Academy Trophy descends on the circuit. But for the first time, the OK and OK Junior classes are racing here too. And on a circuit where overtaking is tough and tyre degradation is particularly high, 3 FIA karting champions will emerge from a very competitive weekend. Qualifying is more important here than at any other circuit on the calendar, as it's narrower and shorter than other venues, and will therefore mean mistakes in setup or driving skill are severely punished. Some teams are also using this as a warm-up to the World Championships at Franciacorta in 2 months' time, especially those who are already out of contention. For the racers still in with a shot, it's vital to maintain focus and cope with the intense heat. The only way to pull victory out of the bag is to do something special, and there will be no second chances. Past winners in this paddock have gone on to glory at the Indy 500, Le Mans and Formula 1. So this is the first chance to show the world the talent still to come. The best young drivers, mechanics and teams are here to search for thousands of a second and the right to crown themselves champions of Europe. It's now or never. Tony Kart star Luigi Coluccio will steer us around on a fast lap at Cremona. You enter turn 1 still on the throttle, then decelerate and keep the kart smooth, ready for turn 3, where you'll reduce the speed again, and then heavy braking into turn 4 will give you a better correction for the second sector of the circuit. Through the left and make sure the kart is stable heading into the right, but keep a smooth pace as it will set you up down the straight. Then heavy braking again into the next right, a tighter hairpin that opens out for a sequence of left-handers that really test both the strength of the chassis but also the physical resilience of the driver. Overtaking happens frequently into the next left and the next right, depending on where you position the kart. Then you ride the curbs until you lean into the final bend, which should push the kart faster down the main straight. It's a short track with few overtaking chances, and you can't afford to get it wrong. Staying consistent is always a key factor in the Academy Trophy. Marius Barryberg of Norway triumphed in the first race of the season at Třinec in the Czech Republic. But just as the celebrations were over, Rudby in Denmark saw a different winner emerge, as Vasilios Apostolidis of Greece took the win. The championship leader was Max Walton, as he had sealed podiums in both races. But the changing nature of the category means that victory is far from decided. And as the competitors prepared for battle in the Italian heat, and FIA Karting President Akbar Ebrahim and Vice President John Ryan awarded the medals to the finalists in Cremona, a very interesting race was set to occur. Poland's Wojciech Woda had clinched pole position alongside Hugo Marti of Spain, second in the standings, with Walton back in 17th. When the lights went out for the start, Marti elected to play cautious, which allowed Woda to remain in the lead, as Marcus Cialcunias and Santino Panetta moved into the top 3. Britain's Harry Bartle would drift wide out of turn 2, losing several positions. Marti found his rhythm on the opening lap and made a pass on Panetta to take 3rd position, and that was just for starters. At the end of the lap, he found enough pace and confidence to overtake Cialcunias as well on the final bend. On the second lap, he seized his chance to clinch the title and moved ahead of Woda to take the lead. But it wasn't going to be that easy. Woda retaliated instantly. Marti tried again heading into lap 3, and this time he managed to make it stick. The shuffle allowed Panetta to close up on Cialcunias and make the overtake himself into 3rd. Lisa Biard was making a statement in the season finale, and her move on Rocco Coronel cemented her credentials as a contender for the win. Coronel then found the going tough against Christian Tonolini, and now had some time to make up as a consequence. Biard had now climbed as high as 3rd position, and Cialcunias wasn't content with that. He knew he had to pass Panetta quickly, so he didn't waste any time. But Marius Barryberg wouldn't repeat his joy from Třinec, as he dropped out of the race on the same lap as Roland Spruder and Benjamin Jalmgaard. The lead battle had tightened up once more, and Woda went for the lead to prevent Biard passing him. Marti worked out the tactic quickly and decided she was a serious threat. His move on Voda backfired, and despite doing his best, it merely opened the door to allow the French driver through. Marti then salvaged his second place, and as Chilcunas found the gap for third, Biard valiantly held on to regroup in fourth position, with Coronel passing Panetta for fifth. 2 laps later, and Biard returned to the podium with her move for third on Chilcunas, despite her Nassau panel sticker flapping in the slipstream. It didn't slow her down though, as she claimed second on lap 11 from Marti. Chilcunas then returned to the podium himself, when he caught and passed Marti. Coronel fancied his chances to overtake as well. The Spaniard had just done enough to keep him at bay, and Arthur Braun sneaked by 2. Tonolini, however, was out of the race. It was now Braun's turn to challenge Marti, who was not having the fairy tale win he was hoping for. But so long as he scored enough points, the title would still be his, a fact that Coronel exploited masterfully. It gave Karel Stout the chance to pass them both, with Romeo Haag also passing Marti. But Coronel's move to overtake Stout ended in contact, with Coronel dropping out of the top 6 and Stout plunging to the back. Bartel was bouncing back as he overtook Simon Mayer, but a front fairing penalty ruined his chances. He would, however, get a perfect view of Haag's move on Coronel. No matter what Lisa Biard could throw at Wojciech Woda, she couldn't catch the Polish driver, and they emerged first and second, with Woda winning his first FIA race ahead of the talented French racer. Chilcunas had claimed third, but down in P6, Hugo Marti had done enough to win the Academy Trophy after Max Walton had sadly succumbed to the midfield battle. So it's a historic occasion for Wojciech Woda, Lisa Biard and Markus Chilcunas on the rostrum, with Braun ahead of Haag and new champion Hugo Marti. Coronel would finish ahead of Panetta, with Angola's Lorenzo Campos in front of Mayer, who just pipped Klara Kowalczyk to the top 10. It was time to celebrate the achievements of Markus Chilcunas, Lisa Biard and race winner Wojciech Woda, who had earned the right to raise the silverware and claim the spoils for Cremona. It's the perfect way to end the 14th Academy Trophy season. We have a new champion and 3 new stars on the podium. So once more, it's time to get busy with the fizzy.
Yeah, thank you very much. I feel incredible. Let's say the whole weekend was great. I had the pole position in qualifying, then I started pole into the final, and I finished P1 in the final. So yeah, great weekend. Yeah, the final was tough, but I managed to win the race. Yeah, it's a great feeling that I got this opportunity to race in Academy this year, and yeah, it's just great feeling. I got a lot of experience here, and I wanted to say a big thank you to Koski Motorsport, to Jan Koski, to Nicola, to my mechanic Andrea, to my family and to all my sponsors.
It was a very good weekend for me. I did P2 in my group at the qualifying, but I took a penalty, so I was P7, and I come back at all the heats, and I started P7 for the final, and just come back P2. I want to tell thank you to all the FIA Academy and Didier Blo, my coach, for giving me a confidence to represent France.
Yeah, the final was amazing, but the part of the middle of the race, I was not so concentrated to do my best, but in the end of the session I started to get some pace, and I got overtaken, and then I got to P3. The level is really, you can say, high, and I am really happy to compete here.
OK Junior in 2023 has been an irresistible battle for the crown between 2 men. Tibor Ramekers of Belgium, who claimed the win at the season opener in Spain, and Oleksandr Bondarev of Ukraine, who not only claimed the win in the Czech Republic, but he then repeated the feat in Denmark just a few weeks later. The 2 drivers have traded wins in heats, superheats and finals all season long, and and the duel must finally come down to the wire here in Cremona. A tough weekend had already played out prior to the start of the final, in which both men had been winners. Lammers had taken pole position in qualifying and maintained his pace to seal the best position for the start of the final. Jacopo Martinez and Dries van Langendonk found themselves in between the title protagonists, with Bondarev starting P4. Lammers made the perfect start from the front as Van Langendonk overtook Martinez and Cristian Castoya stormed ahead of Bondarev. Not everybody had a good opening lap, as Elliot Kaczynski, Travis Teo and Joel Bochila ended up on the grass. Teo would retire, and so too would David Kozma, further around the circuit. Martinez claimed back second quickly from Van Langendonk, whilst Castoya was backing up the pack in fourth. Alfie Slater couldn't hold off Arjen Kraling for long and watched helpless as the German moved ahead. Stepan Antonov also passed Sebastian Letemarki, whose race almost ended. Travis Teo's race sadly had. Letemarki then tangled with Andy Consani, allowing Zach Drummond to pass them both. Bondarev finally passed Castoya on lap 3, but there was now a big deficit to make up. Could the Ukrainian claim the podium in every single final this year? It was particularly disappointing for Travis Teo, flying all the way from Malaysia to retire on the opening lap. Martinez was piling on the pressure, and he overtook Lammers to clinch the lead of the final. And almost exactly on cue, Bondarev moved into third. His next target was now his main championship rival. However, he didn't need to pass him to become champion. He just needed to stay in third. The race wasn't over behind them, and Antonov was becoming frustrated, stuck behind Castoya. The traffic jam that ensued handed an overtake to Consani on Kraling, but Antonov needed to deal with the Paralin, as Drummond wasn't far behind now. Early championship contender Lewis Werrell was out of the race too, along with Jensen Burnett. Back at the front, and Martinez was stretching out the gap with Lammers, ahead of Bondarev and Van Langendonk. There was a decent margin back to Castoya in fifth, and despite moving ahead of Antonov, Drummond wasn't able to keep the Kart Republic driver behind him for long. Alfie Slater then decided he could pass Drummond too, but his defensive move on the exit held up Scott Lindblom, who lost out to Salim Hanna and Consani. Kraling was now struggling for grip, as he was dueling with Nicolas Schaufler, Luis Francis and Noah Montero. It would be the Australian Francis who was hung out to dry, with Oliver Kinmark pouncing on the chance and Maria Nito now eager for her own opportunity to arise. Antonov was now at the limit of his patience, as Castoya was making his Paralin as wide as a bus on some corners, with Antonov having to use all the road and a little more to draw level, the Spaniard finally dropping back at the end of the race. Lammers timed his move to reclaim the lead to perfection, as with 3 laps to go, he knew he could steal the win. From there, he would stretch a decent enough lead to be comfortable in the closing stages, claiming the win and the fastest lap, and thereby winning the perfect race. He had done all he could, but the Belgian was only short of the crown by a few points. Behind Martinez, the new champion had been crowned. Oleksandr Bondarev had ended the previous year abruptly with a horrible injury, but in 2023, amidst all the hardship, nothing could stop the Phoenix from claiming the ultimate European karting prize. As Kart Republic drivers monopolised the podium, Van Langendonk followed them home ahead of Antonov and Slater. Andy Consani had driven beautifully for 7th, with Schaufler, Lindblom and Montero bringing their machines home in the top 10 in the last final of the European season. Dino Chiesa's incredible young ambassadors had eclipsed the rostrum in phenomenal fashion, and after Birolard had swept the KZ2 podium at Sarno a few weeks before, it must have been even more sweet for Kart Republic to do likewise in OK Junior at Cremona. It was also satisfying to see the title battle end in style, on the track, and with a brilliant race to end the year. Next stop, Franciacorta for the World Championship. I feel very happy, as this is the second time I've won in the European Championship, so this is a great feeling. It's true that I'm missing the championship by just a small margin, but it's still a good feeling. I'm very happy to become European Vice Champion, and I do want to congratulate Jacopo and Oleksandr for the race and the championship.
The final from P2 was actually not the worst start. I tried into P3 and then after a couple of laps I got the leads. Then at the end of the race Thibaut overtook me and I was not able to remain at his pace. It was a bit faster. but still happy because in the championship we got a really good position as a first year.
The start of the final wasn't that good. I slowed into P5, but then Christian Costoya started to defend, so I had to stay behind for a couple of laps, and then I go in front of him, and she just wasn't able to catch up to the drivers in P1 and P2 because they were both extremely fast. But still, we're very happy with the consistency we had all year, and it's the one that gave us the title. So yeah, extremely happy. Can't thank the team enough. KR, Ayami, all the sponsors, my management WH Sports, and my mechanic Cabo, and my coach Sam.
We can only be happy because we finished vice European champion behind a very beautiful winner who did a fantastic season. Also, it's quite rare to win 2 European races and to not become champion, but that's what we did. We have no regrets, especially after working with Thibaut Ramekers now for just over a year and a half. It was a big program, and today we achieved an outcome and a result we felt we couldn't reach. So it's a good feeling and a good achievement. And now we're going to prepare for the World Championship to come. We're going to give it all to be prepared as much as we can and to reach our best. Becoming vice-European champion is no lean feat. This is Thibaut's first full major season. There's nothing more we can really say. Thibaut has done some amazing races, just as much as Jacopo and Oleksandr. They've both also been really impressive throughout the year. The level of performance that they've been able to attain is truly fantastic. The whole year has been fantastic. There's been a duel to remember in OK between the 2 title contenders. After Joe Turney of Great Britain stormed to the win in Spain in the first race of the year, the title battle really took shape, as first Brazilian driver Gabriel Gomes of CRG claimed his first win in OK in the Czech Republic. And then in Denmark, it was time for the Flying Dutchman Rene Lammers, son of Le Mans legend Jan of the Paralympic team, to take his. The 2 Italian squads now go head-to-head at home. It's looking good for Lammers as he heads into the final in the form of his life. Second in qualifying, 4 heat wins, and the victory in the superheat sees him head the 36-strong field of drivers in pole position, ahead of Prema stars Enzo Tarnvanichkul and Kian Nakamura Berta, with Gomez needing to retaliate down in 12th. Lammers knew what to do from the start, but Nakamura Berta almost spoiled the party to turn 1. Coluccio used the concertina effect to pass Tarnvanichkul for 3rd, whilst behind, a huge accident would end the race for Alexander Bogunovic. Fortunately, he was okay, but it left Sebastiano Pavan, Michael Eder, Emanuele Olivieri and Ludovic Sambudla out as well. Coluccio was determined to win at home and saw his chance to pass Nakamura Berta at the end of the back straight. Yellow flags went out for the opening lap incident, but fortunately, despite the apparent ferocity of the affair, every driver was able to walk away. On the restart, Coluccio threw caution to the winds and surged into the lead ahead of Lammers, whilst Tarnvanichkul moved ahead of Finn McLaughlin. Nakamura Berta clearly felt that if Coluccio could pass Lammers, so could he, and so the outgoing European champion moved ahead of the man destined to claim the crown. Tarnvanichkul repeated the move, but McLaughlin didn't quite succeed in the same breath. Behind the top 5, an epic contest was beginning, as Alex Powell was trying to keep his opponents behind. CRG drivers Francisco Macedo and Mattia Colnaghi were doing everything they could to stay in touch. Gabriel Gomez's prayers on the grid were going unanswered, as he found himself languishing behind original pole sitter Luis Iglesias. Powell made a bold lunge to overtake McLaughlin and almost lost out to Colnaghi instead. For the moment, the Jamaican could breathe a sigh of relief. Then, unbelievably, Nakamura Berta was involved in yet another tactical race shuffle in the final European race of the year, as he waved Tarnvanichkul through into second. Last year, he had won the title with a similar gesture from Evan Gilter. Now it was his turn to stand aside. Powell finally found his move on McLaughlin, but his chance to catch the leaders had long gone. Dmitry Matveev wasn't complaining though, as the move allowed him to overtake McLaughlin heading into turn 1. Lammers was doing his best to catch up to the trio on the podium, whilst Maciej Gladish was reminding everybody what he could do with a terrific move on McLaughlin. David Walter followed in hot pursuit, and then at the first invitation, the Danish driver grabbed the advantage over the Polish ace. Lammers was comfortable in P4, and it would be enough for him to become champion with Gomez behind him. With his father, Jan Lammers, watching from the sidelines, it looked like yet another son of a Formula One star was about to write his own piece of karting history. Coluccio, meanwhile, was giving Tony Kart the renaissance they had been praying for, and en route to becoming the 4th different winner in as many finals in 2023. Red Bull starlet and reigning junior world champion Enzo Tarnvanitschkel had finally found his feet to end his first European campaign as a senior on a high note, ahead of his teammate and last year's European champion Kian Nakamura Berta. Would this be the last time we'd see the British-Japanese star in a European Championship race? Sadly, heartbreak would intervene for Luis Iglesias, nephew of world champion Jeremy. Pole position on Friday, game over on Sunday. But Luigi Coluccio was in the lap of luxury as he stormed to the victory at Cremona, a home win for the new Italian stallion. Tony Kart were back on top and at home, but as the Prema pair shared the podium, the realization was starting to sink in, as Rene Lammers of Parolin had just become the new European champion in his first year as a senior. Behind the top 4 men, Alex Powell claimed 5th position ahead of McLaughlin, whilst Thomas Stolchamanis bounced back to 7th position after a tough weekend. The top 10 would be completed by Dmitry Matveev, David Walter and Ian Eichmans in his first race for Leclerc by Lennox. The Italian crowd would be perfectly happy in Cremona as the Prema drivers Kian Nakamura Berta and Enzo Tarnvanitschkel claimed silverware in their kart republics. But Luigi Coluccio, Tony Kart's new captain, had returned the green, white and red to the top of the rostrum. 3rd in 2018 at Kristianstad, 2nd at Campillos in 2021. Could Luigi Coluccio become world champion at Franciacorta? It seems foolish to bet against him in his current form.
Feels amazing. It's really good to be first, of course. I had many podiums in the past, but never the first place. So I'm very happy about this. In the final, we find the best package we could, and I tried to attack immediately to go first and try to escape as I did. So I'm very happy, and I want to thank Tonica for all the job of this weekend and the job they always do for me.
Yeah, just a good weekend in general, and I think we just missed a bit of pace to catch Luigi. Overall, we did good throughout the heats and then just got stuck a bit after the slow. And then after that, just couldn't catch Luigi. He was just too far in front and we were quite similar pace, but he was just too far to catch. I'm happy to get the podium, obviously, and also to fight someone like Kian or Luigi that have a lot of experience, especially someone like Luigi. It's a nice feeling when you know that you're quite similar to them and you give them a good run.
We came to the weekend with high hopes and the last round of the championship. In the final, we just missed something to the Tony Karts, but overall the team did an amazing job throughout the weekend. 2 and 3 is a pretty good result for the team.
Yeah, it's very good for us. We understand immediately on Friday that we have possibility to play for the top 3. Luigi make a very good start in the final. He played very well in the first 2 laps, and in the end they have a very good speed for all the race. And also our material work very properly here in Cremona.
So Hugo Marti becomes the 3rd Spanish driver after Marta Garcia and Mari Boya to win the FIA Karting Academy Trophy.
It feels pretty good because it was our goal since the beginning of the championship, so I think it's a very, very good result in this season, so I feel very happy, and that's all.
A year ago, Oleksandr Bondarev couldn't even walk. Now the Phoenix has risen from the flames to become Ukraine's first ever karting champion.
Still in shock, still can't believe it, but as I said, I couldn't have done it without also my teammates who helped me a little bit in every single round. So yeah, extremely happy. Want to thank everyone who helped me, and yeah, on to preparing for the World Championship.
And Rene Lammers follows in the footsteps of Max Verstappen to become the latest son of a Dutch racing legend to become European champion.
I feel great. I think we did an amazing job setting up everything, and yeah, that also showed by the performances we did. I think we stayed consistent through the whole championship, and that made us win this.
It's been a fantastic season, also because it's been 4 different tracks, different weather circumstances, and he was quick everywhere. So that's actually mainly what we're very pleased with.
But as the celebrations are in full swing, the European Kings have another mission ahead. In September, the fight begins for the World Championships.